Hello, my name is Matt Smith, and I help out in the recruiting and contracting department here at Secure Insurance Group. Thanks for watching this training. In this video, we're going to cover several things. We're going to cover our quote engine. So Secure IG has its own quote engine. And so being an agent with us gets you access to that. And it's a really, really great quote engine. We'll get into that, but it's super, super cool. So we're going to go over what we quote on this website. We're going to go over just different discounts and how to look up things and how it's different than most other quote engines. We're going to go over that. We're going to look over how to quote a Medicare supplement, how to quote final expense life insurance, day one coverage, and guaranteed issue policies. So we're going to dive into a lot of that stuff. Feel free to save this video, watch it as many times as you need, share it with any agents that you know that may need help or have questions. You're always welcome to, if you have questions, to contact me. I can be reached at 417-883-9300, or you can send me an email at matt.smith, S-M-I-T-H, at secureig, SECUREIG.com. And I'm happy to help in any way I can. So let's get into the training. So this is our website. So this is where you'll go. It's www.secureig.com. It will have a password that you need, a username and a password. Currently, the username is SIG Agent, all lowercase SIG Agent. And then the password will be Secure17. And that S is capitalized. So capital S, lowercase the rest, Secure17 is the password. Now, the quote engine is not password protected, but everything else will be password protected. So for scripts and leads and other things like that, you'll need the password. So, but the quote engine is not password protected. This is the home screen of it. You can see it here. We will go ahead and click on quote engine, and it'll pull up a separate page, and it'll actually pull it up. So on our quote engine, we quote Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage, and Prescription Drug Plan, as well as final expense life insurance. Now, I will say, just a quick caveat at the beginning, Medicare Advantage, we only use the Medicare Advantage quoting tool on our website whenever you've got a client that doesn't take any medications. So if you've got a client that takes Medicare or takes medications, we always refer back to Medicare.gov to run a quote, simply because ours isn't going to take into account their drugs. And that's obviously, if you know anything about Medicare, that's one of the biggest ways they can spend a ton of money, if not the biggest. And so we always refer them back to Medicare.gov so that they can get a good plan. But if you've got a client that's healthy, doesn't take any medications at all, and you just want to see what plans are available, it is a good tool for that. But if they take any medications, again, just refer them back to, I would refer you back to Medicare.gov. But the Medicare Supplement and Final Expense Life are great tools. We'll dive in. We'll start with Medicare Supplement. So we'll just click Run Quote here, and it'll pull things up. I'm going to do a quote in Missouri. So this is where I'm located. And we'll just do a 65 female non-tobacco Plan G, and we'll do the effective date as 6/1/2020. We'll leave household discount off. I'll show you how we can add it later. But this will be just a 65 female quote. So we'll click Get Quote. Alrighty, so this, at the top, you can confirm all the information that we added is accurate. This is without any household discount. So each carrier offers a household discount. Well, not each carrier, some carriers offer a household discount. And that household discount can be interpreted several different ways. So number one, some carriers may say both people, both husband and wife, have to be members of our plan to get the household discount. Some say one can be a member of our plan, but the other just has to be 60 years of age or older. Some say one, they just have to be a member of the plan, but they can live with somebody that's over the age of 18. So it's really open for interpretation on each carrier's household discount. So that's one thing that you'll need to keep in mind when quoting with a household discount. These rates obviously do not include a household discount. And you can see it's going to pull up like 30 different options. I'll scroll a little quicker, that way we can get to the bottom. 27 options is what it's going to pull up. So it's going to pull up every carrier that we've got for Medicare Supplement. If you want and you realize, oh darn, I forgot to add the household discount, that's no problem. You don't have to go back and requote it. If you go back over here to the side on the left, you'll see apply discounts. And so we can click apply discounts. And now all of a sudden we're at $112 for United Healthcare for AARP as opposed to $118.50. So you can take the discount on or off just like that. And you'll notice that carriers change. Anthem drops and Pan American comes up. So we can apply or take off the discount from there. You can also change it to an annual rate over here if you've got a client that pays annually. So you can just add that or take it off. So it works that way. Now, we also have one of the coolest parts about our plan or about our quote engine is it has what they call the market analytics, which is very, very good, especially when you're looking at a carrier you may not write a lot of, but you may be looking to write their plan. If you click on the market analytics, it's going to pull up their increase history. So you can see United Healthcare in 2018 took a 7% increase. In 2019, they took a large decrease. They actually decreased their premium by almost 21%. And then in 2020, they decreased again almost by 6%, 5.9. So their average over the last 3 years is they've decreased their premium by 6.5%. So it'll show you that. It'll show you how many people that they have insured. They've got just over 4.1 million insured currently. In the state of Missouri, they've got about 75,000 insured. So it'll show you that. It'll show you their total premiums, their loss ratios, and their percentage of the market that they own. So very, very cool tool. You can go down and see Pan American. We can see Anthem, American National. So it shows all the different just numbers that may be important if you're looking at a carrier that you've not done business with before. So it's a very, very cool tool. So we can take that off. So that's how you quote Medicare Supplement. Now, there's a few other things I'd like to show you before we move into final expense. There's two things that you can do. You can actually export this as a PDF. And so today, the world we live in, everything's done virtually, or a lot of things are done virtually. And so one thing we can do is we can click this button right here in the middle under export. It will generate this into a PDF. And so if we go back up to the top, it says, would you like to include Plan G details in the PDF printout? We're going to push yes. Remember this setting. And we're going to add to PDF. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to pull up a list of every plan that's available for your client. And then the cool thing is at the bottom, it's going to include all the details of Plan G and how it works so that you can email this over to your clients. Your client can see, oh, my agent's not just looking at one different company. He's looking at several different companies. And this is why he made the recommendation that he made. So if you look down, it's going to have all the plans that we've talked about, that we've looked at. And there's 6 pages, so I'll scroll a little bit. But you can see all the different plans. At the bottom, what I'd like to show you is this is all of the Medicare Supplement Plan G details. So Part A, what everything pays for Part A, and what Part B, what Medicare pays, what your plan pays. So it's very, very, very cool that it's going to show, like, for example, Part A, your client has a $1,408 deductible. But this plan, their Plan G, is going to cover all $1,408 of the Part A deductible. It's going to cover everything, obviously. So it's showing them that. And then obviously, Plan G doesn't cover the Medicare Part B deductible. And so here's the deductible, and it shows your clients that they're not going to pay for it. So it's really cool. It shows exactly how their plan works. It works like that on Plan N, Plan F, whatever plan that you're selling, it will pull up the details. So that's very cool. You can also export it to an Excel file. I prefer to use the PDF. I just think it's a lot cleaner and it doesn't, it's easier to read. And we'll show you here in just a minute, but I just think it's easier to read. So that's the one that I email my clients whenever I need to. It also has a function over here that we can print it directly from here so that you don't have to download it or anything. Like I said, the Excel's great, it's just not quite as clean, and so I prefer the other. I'll show you here in a few minutes how we can add health conditions and specific health conditions that, like if your client takes insulin, if he's a diabetic, he or she's a diabetic and takes insulin, it will factor in that into the underwriting. So it'll show exactly which carrier would be a good fit for your client taking insulin. So we'll go over that here in just a moment. All right, here we are. So this is, if you look at the bottom, you can see Plan A rates. So it's got all the rates for the different plans that are offered for Plan A. And then it's going to show Plan A details, what exactly Plan A covers. Plan B and the Plan B details. Now, our office, we mostly sell G and N. We don't really sell many of the other plans. So let's go over and I'll show you what that looks like. So you can look at Plan G rates, and it's got the monthly rate as well as the annual rate if they get a household discount and all of that. And then it also has the Plan G details. So it does have everything that the other one has. I just prefer the other one because I think it looks a little cleaner, but this one does include all the plans. So you can do whichever one that you prefer or your client prefers. I just happen to prefer the other one. All right, so that is everything on that. I want to show you one more thing before we move on to final expense life. So I'm going to go back to the Medicare Supplement page, and I'm going to show you how we quote with specific health conditions. So we'll do still a 65 female, non-tobacco. We'll still do a 6/1 effective date. And then we're going to go down here to Show Advanced. And this Show Advanced feature is very, very cool. So we'll go down, and you can add underwriting filters. So what we're going to do is we're going to select a health condition. So let's say your client has diabetes, and we'll search diabetes. Diabetes dependent on insulin. So we'll select that. And they currently have diabetes. So then we'll say, how many units of insulin do they take? So we'll say they take 20 units of insulin. Now this is very important to remember. If you click Get Quote, it's not going to save any of your features. So you actually have to click Add Filter. So we're going to click Add Filter, and it put in that your client is insulin dependent and that they take 20 units of insulin. So now we can Get Quote. And what this is going to do is it's going to show all the plans that are available, but it's going to take into account that your client is an insulin-dependent diabetic. And so if you remember earlier, with the household discount applied, United Healthcare was $112. Now, they're not the best option. Now it's American National is the best option because it takes into account that your client is a diabetic dependent on insulin, and you can see it up here at the top. So it's very, very cool. You can add in different health conditions or different medications and things like that. And I believe this is very, very, very important because then you're giving your client an accurate quote as opposed to just, hey, you may get this, you may pass underwriting, I'm really not sure. But if you use the tools that we've provided, you are able to give them a more accurate quote so that you know you're doing your due diligence and you've got a better chance for your client. You're doing a good job. So I really, really like that tool that you can do. And so that's it on the Medicare Supplement side. I'd like to show you the Final Expense Life side real quick. So we'll go over to Final Expense Life, and it'll pull up that. We actually use, one thing I didn't mention, we use CSG Actuarial, which is a fantastic software. That's, if you know anything about them, they're like the best on the market right now for Medicare or for quote engines, just quote engines in general. They do a lot of really, really great things, and they're industry leading. And so we use them, and they do a great, great job. So we'll use the same zip code that we've been using. This is for Final Expense Life. So we've got our zip code. We've got a 65 female non-tobacco, $10,000 death benefit. Let's see here. This is going to be the first one. I'm going to show you two quotes. First, I'm going to show you how to quote level, which level obviously means day one that's going through underwriting. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and then we'll come back and look at how to quote a guaranteed issue policy. So we're going to click Get Quote here. And this will do the same exact thing the Medicare Supplement did. It's going to pull up all the carriers that we've got, and then you can make your recommendation to your client from there. But it's going to quote all of the carriers for you. All right, here we go. So here we are. You got Christian Fidelity at $35.70, Pekin, Foresters, United of Omaha, Liberty Bankers. So we'll go down and you can see that it'll pull up all the different options here. And there's like 30 of those, 29. And so this will pull up all your client's options for day one coverage. So we'll go back up to the top. You can do the same thing here that we talked about on the other. You can export it as a PDF or you can print it. So you are able to do those things. You can also confirm at the top that all your information is correct. You can change it. One thing I didn't show you on the Medicare Supplement site, you can change it from here. So if you wanted to get a tobacco rate or change it to male or change the age or whatever, you could do that from this screen. So you don't have to go back in and start over. But you can do that on Medicare Supplement or Final Expense Life. We'll go down here, pull it up. It's going to look the exact same. You'll see it's got the information on your client at the top, and then it's got each carrier that you represent at below it. And so we're going to have 4 pages. So that's what we've got. And you can email that to your client as well. Now on this, you can actually take off the fees, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. I'm going to stress that again. The reason why you want to leave the fees in there are because the fees on final expense are built into their premium. And so I get this question a lot. Some people say, well, do I mail the fee in, or do we pay the fee? Is it a separate, like a policy fee? No, we don't. These annual fees are built into the premium, and so that $30 is divided out by the 12 months of the premium, and they'll pay that monthly. So it'll just be a couple dollars added per month. So do not mail that in. I recommend leaving that applies fees on there because that's going to give your client an accurate description of what it's going to cost for the premium plus the fee. So do not take the fees off of there. We can expand or not our quotes. I prefer to expand it just because I like to see the other things that it offers. But you can, if you prefer it to be more concise, take that off. You can also change the rating. So you can change it if you want to pay annually, or if you want to pay monthly or quarterly or semi-annually. I prefer the default on mine to be monthly, but you can do whatever you prefer. So it's very, very, very cool. You can actually also add the health conditions just like we added on the other. So if we want to add diabetes, we can do the same thing here. Insulin-dependent diabetic, and it's going to pull up all the carriers that are insulin that'll take it. So it's going to say, diabetes. Criteria would be diabetes dependent on insulin, and then was the diabetes prior to age 30 or insulin shots taken prior to age 50. So it's going to give you what that specific carrier is looking for. So obviously Foresters is not on their application, so they're looking for what that carrier is looking for, and so it's very, very cool. You can also take that off or leave it on, whatever you need. Whoops. So that's the final expense day one quote engine. Very, very cool tool. Now, one thing that I always recommend our agents do is to set up a training call with myself or some of our ladies. And what we need to do is we need to find the carriers that are good for you and what are going to be carriers that are going to, one, have a great policy for your clients. They've got a low competitive premium and they've got a great policy and it's a great carrier. But two, the other thing that's very important here is that you're going to get the most commission possible. And then something else that's important is like certain people, they like e-apps or they prefer voice signature for their clients or whatever. And however you're selling, that's fine. But I'd like to set up a time with either myself or with our ladies, and I'd like to do a carrier recommendation for you. So we can go through and see in your area exactly what carriers are competitive, what carriers are going to pay you the most commission, and what carriers are going to fit the molds of what you're wanting. So like e-apps or things like that. So that's what that looks like. I'm going to go back and I want to show you one more thing, and this is how to quote guaranteed issue life, and then we'll wrap up here. So we'll do the same zip code. Same exact, we'll leave it 65 female, non-tobacco, 10,000 benefit. But to change it to guaranteed issue, I want to go here to product type. I want to change it from level, and I want to change it to modified/return of premium. Okay. And then the second thing I want to do is I want to go over here to underwriting type, and I want to change it from full to guaranteed. So I do both those things. I change it to modified return of premium and guaranteed, and that's going to quote me a guaranteed issue policy. Very important to remember that, because the other we quoted was level day one coverage, which is a great thing for your clients, but it's a totally different than guaranteed issue. There's no health questions. And so this is a great policy as well. Just got to remember it quotes it a little differently. You still have all the same features as far as you can apply the fees or take them off. Obviously, like we said earlier, keep the fees in there. You can expand it or not, and then you can change the rates like we talked about. You're not going to need to put any health questions in, because obviously these plans have no health questions. And so these plans are strictly without health questions. So you can see AIG, American General, is at $61.56 per month. And you can go down and see Gerber and United Home Life as well. Obviously, American General pays a great commission, has a great policy, and it's the lowest premium. So that's the one I would go with in this instance. But that's how you quote guaranteed issue versus day one coverage, level coverage. So we've went over a lot of stuff today. To recap, we talked about Medicare Advantage. You can use our quote engine if you're going to have a client that's totally healthy, takes no medicines, and you just want to know what plans are available. That's fine. Otherwise, we refer our agents back to Medicare.gov, and there's another training video for that. But it's very important for their medications and their prescriptions that you check it on Medicare.gov. MedSup, we went over how to apply a household discount, how to do a healthy quote for somebody that doesn't have any health issues, how to put in some health issues and some conditions that will make you give or help you give a more accurate quote for your clients. And then we went over how to change the annual rate, the market analytics, and how to download a PDF. So that was good. Then we also, on final expense, we went over day one coverage versus guaranteed issue coverage and how to quote those. So very good. If you need to review this training, feel free to watch it again. If you have any questions, always remember to call me or email me. My phone number is 417-883-9300, or my email is matt.smith@secureig.com. If you need anything, I'm always happy to help. Thanks, and have a great day.